Good morning. It is now May the 21st. It is now 10:41. We had a meeting with our lawyer on some HR matters this morning from 9:30 till now. And so we are now ready to start the public portion of our council meeting. So the first item is to review and adopt the agenda. We will then have the minutes of May the 7th, 2025. Any business arising for the minutes will be discussed after the minutes are read. Chief and council upcoming meetings to motions to approve those outside of the territory. There's a hydro connection at 265 York Road, a hydro connection at 1158 Ridge Road. There are some number of land transfers to be approved. There's a business registration renewal for Better Blades, business registration for Aksuta Design and Fabrics. There's a business registration renewal for Tyendinaga Propane, a business registration renewal for Mohawk Steel and Trim, business registration for Handing Hides, business registration for Indigenous Business Management and Consulting. Item 13 is the item to discuss purchasing a new tractor lawnmower to cut the grass at the school. There's some Miller Thompson HR invoices. Some motions are required for the IESO enhancement of the CEC training agreement, IESO feasibility study agreements, IESO update community plan agreement, this is hydro lines and reliability assessments. The upcoming meetings are May the 27th. There's a general committee meeting. June the 2nd is the Tyendinaga Mohawk Council regular council. June the 3rd to the 25th is the Aboriginal Labour Force Development Circle AGA. June the 10th to the 12th is the AI AGA. June the 16th is the local business meeting of council. June the 16th is a regular meeting of council. June the 17th to the 19th is the Chiefs of Ontario Annual General Assembly at Oneida. June the 25th is the Tyendinaga Mohawk Council local business. We now need a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion, Chief.
I'll second.
Aguari and Aaron. Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion's carried. We'll now have the minutes of May the 7th. So the council meeting was held on May the 7th at 9:30 a.m. in the council chambers. I was present, Aguari present, Chris Brandt present, Curtis Brandt present, Aaron Ferranti present, Chris Miracle present, and Linda Lewin joined by teams. Just need a space there between Lewin and joined. Angela Miracle, the acting CEO, was present. Shelley Bowden, the Executive Administrative Assistant and Recording Secretary to the Council, was present. Charles Miracle, Executive Assistant to the Chief, was present. It was moved by Aaron and seconded by Aguari to adopt the agenda. The motion was carried. Motion 2 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Aaron to adopt the council minutes of April 16th. Be approved. The motion was carried. Motion 13 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Chris Brandt to approve the following meetings outside the territory. Chief and Curtis will be attending the First Nations procurement session on May the 20th, 2025 in Toronto, Ontario. The motion was carried. Motion 4 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Curtis to approve the business registration of the APM landscaper contract, owner Stacia Anderson. The motion was carried. Motion 5 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Chris that whereas the Mohawks of Quinte seek to expand its reserved land base through the federal additions to reserve ATR process in the immediate future and has identified a specific parcel of land to include in an ATR proposal to Indigenous Affairs Canada. Whereas the Tyendinaga Mohawk Council supports the submission of an application to the 2025-26 OALA ATR, that's the Ontario Association of Land Administrators, additions to Reserve Direct Support Program, to receive technical assistance and funding support as available. Whereas the Mohawk Council is aware of the ATR Direct Support Program eligibility and application requirements, and confirm that accurate information has been provided in the application to the best of the ability of the applicant. And whereas the Mohawk Council recognizes the ATR Direct Support Program aims to advance an ATR proposal being undertaken by the Mohawks of Wikwin through the delivery of technical assistance and potential funding support, and does not focus on advocacy and other efforts focused on amending existing legislation, policy, or processes to ATR. And whereas upon successful entry into the ATR Direct Support Program, the Council agrees to sign the Terms of Reference document outlining the specific technical assistance and potential funding supports that will be provided over the program's timeline as included in the expression of interest document. And whereas upon successful entry into the ATR Direct Support Program, the Council understands that sharing of sensitive information, e.g. claim settlement agreement with OLA, may be required as condition of entry into the program. And whereas the Mohawk Council confirms that the dedicated representative of the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte will be appointed as the ATR Director. Lead, appointed as the ATR Director Support Program Lead, and be responsible for working OAL's ATR Support Coordinator and Technical Advisory Team consisting of ISC, NALMA, and Program Consultants through the duration of the program. Therefore, be it resolved that the Mohawk Council supports an application be made on behalf of the Mohawks of Bay of Quinte into the 2025-26 OALA ATR Direct Support Program and submitted to the OAL ATR Support Coordinator by April 30th, MCR 2526, resolution number 4. The motion was carried. Motion 6 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Curtis to approve to pay the Derek Wong invoice 871 in the amount of $38,392 and 872 in the amount of $5,196 for economic development. It was carried. Chris Miracle registered a negative vote. Motion 7 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Curtis to approve to pay the JFK law invoice 401035 in the amount of $3,020 for human resources. Motion was carried. Motion 8 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Aaron Ferranti to approve to pay Alan Pratt invoices 6365 in the amount of $7,653 for the Turton Pen loss of use claim. Put the word claim in there. And 6367 in the amount of $1,994.50 for the Culberson land claim. Motion was carried. Motion 9 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Aaron to approve to pay the NERA invoice 3154 in the amount of $9,028.21 and invoice number 3155 in the amount of $3,393.75 for the Turton Pen loss of use claim. The motion was carried. Motion 10 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Curtis to approve to pay the Hicks Morley invoice 825765 in the amount of $2,412 for the human resources. The motion was carried. Motion 11 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Aaron to approve the signing of the Indigenous Services Canada funding agreement number 2122-ON-000027, amendment number 96 in the amount of $48,570 for the home and long-term care, in care, and $48,570 for service delivery. Amendment for 97, the amount of $17,713 for funerals and burials. Amendment number 98 in the amount of $848,061 for child family services, nations representative services, and $256,234 and $5,632,570 for prevention. Amendment 99, modification to terms of reference only. That motion was carried. Motion 12 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Aaron to approve to repay the Bank of Montreal loan balance for the fire hall construction from IEC reimbursed funds. The motion was carried. Motion 13 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Chris Brandt, that whereas Enbridge Gas is offering home winterproofing program for eligible on-reserve First Nations residential customers, and whereas First Nations Engineering Services has been retained by Enbridge to be the delivery agent of the home winterproofing program, and whereas the services are to be provided and or installed at no cost to the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte, the homeowner, or tenants. Therefore, be it resolved that the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte implement the home winterproofing program in its territory. Council Resolution 2526, number 5, was signed and carried. Motion 14 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Curtis Brandt to approve the contract with Workplace Office Solutions for furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte long-term care home in the amount of $1,102,436.59. The motion was carried. Motion 15 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Curtis to approve naming residential areas at the MBQ long-term care home the wolf, turtle, bear, and eagle, and wolf should be capitalized. That motion was carried. And this is just the wings in the home. It's not the name of the home at all, the overall name. Moved by 16. Motion 16 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Linda to defer the naming of the Mohawks Bay long-term care home for council to pick 3 names to present to the community for an additional 2 weeks. The motion was carried. Motion 17 was moved by Chris Brandt and seconded by Curtis Brandt that the council hereby approve Chief Ardell Miracle to remove the Queen Anne Communion silver from the Bank of Montreal vault for the Mohawk Landing on May 18th. Council Resolution 2526, number 6, was carried and signed. Motion 18 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Curtis Brandt that the Tyendinaga Mohawk Council hereby approve Chief Ardell Miracle, Councillor Chase Aguari, Councillor Linda Lewin, Councillor Curtis Brandt, Councillor Aaron Ferranti, Brooklyn Barnhart, Evelyn Shackle as Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte voting delegates at the Association of Iroquois and Allied Indians Annual General Assembly being held on June the 10th to the 12th, hosted by the United First Nations of the Thames. Resolution 2526-007 was carried and signed. Motion 19 was moved by Chris Miracle and seconded by Aaron to approve a community meeting on May 28th at 7 to 9 at the community center. The motion was carried. Council confirmed the following meetings scheduled. May 14th was local business. May 16th was regular business. May 16th, local business. May 21st, regular council. May 28th, local business. June 2nd, regular council. Regular councils are commence at 9:30 in the morning, and local business commences at 7 p.m. June the 3rd will be the annual assembly of the Aboriginal Labor Force Development Circle. June the 10th will be the AIAIGA. June the 16th will be the local council business meeting. June 16th will be regular council meeting. June 17th and 19th will be Chiefs of Ontario Annual General Assembly. June 25th will be the local council meeting. Motion 20 was moved by Aaron and seconded by Linda that this meeting go in private at 10:42 a.m. The motion was carried. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Just one, Chief, or I'm just confused. On motion 19, we said that the community meeting was going to be on May 28th from 7 till 9. Then we have it down here as confirmed scheduled meetings as May 28th.
Okay, we record the motion the way it was at the time, and then we'll correct it as we have to accept it because that's what was decided.
Oh, okay.
Is there a motion to accept the minutes and the corrections I went through the minutes I was presenting?
Yep, I'll motion.
Moved by Aaron.
No second.
Linda? Aaron and Linda have moved. Is anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Any council opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. Is there any business rising from the minutes? So I guess the one correction will be the one to notation, which will be, we've already have a motion for the new date, Shelley, do we?
Yeah. Last week, but that,
Oh, okay.
because the previous center wasn't available. So it is now the 27th, that's not community center.
So the meeting then is May 20th, the general meeting for the community meeting is May 27th from 7 to 9 at the community center. Okay, motion is carried. Meetings outside the territory. And have all of my AIS been approved and school approved as well? Or do we need a motion, Shelley? The chief's annual meet, they've all been done. Are there any meetings that council has before the next council meeting? Chris?
No.
Curtis? Aaron?
No.
Chris? Linda?
No.
Ogari?
Nope.
We'll just note that there are none then, that they've already been approved.
I'll be doing that virtual. I'm not flying.
Okay. Okay, and when is that? That's in Winnipeg, right?
That's in July 14th, 17th. I
If you wish to join it virtually, I can have Bryce set it up in here, and you can all be in the same room and do it in here, as opposed to individually.
As long as our technology is going to be reliable, because I find, okay, I can do it virtually as long as, because I know when we do it online, sometimes our system is conking out in the middle of the meeting and it's disruptive. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it virtually then.
Me too.
Yeah, because other times when I've had meetings, that way the system was conking out all the time. It'll be done virtually. The next item is to hydro connection at 265 York Road. The hydro layout has been attached. Nick Brinkle, the superintendent of roads, has reviewed it and has no issue. And the recommendation is to grant approval for hydro and to complete the work. Is there a motion?
I'll motion, Chief.
I'll second, Chief.
Chris and Curtis. Is any of the council opposed? Any of the council opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. The next item, number 5, is a hydro connection at 1158 Ridge Road. The layout has been provided. Nick Brinklow, the superintendent of roads, has reviewed it and approved and has no issue. It's recommended that council grant approval to Hydro One to complete the work. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll motion that again.
I'll second, Chief.
Chris Brandt and Chris Miracle. Anyone opposed? Any of the council opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. There are a number of land transfers here. The land transfers, a land transfer right of way over lot 27J-1 remainder of concession 2, Candaland Survey Record 104951, it's one of them. Lot 27M, concession 2, Candaland Survey Record 74977. Lot 27M, concession 2, Revised Statutes of Ontario 35. Lot 27M-5, concession 2, RSO 35, lot 28K, concession 2, lot 38G-3, concession 2. Now, Candaland Survey Record 91959, lot 27 dash lot 27-1-1, Save and accept lot 27J-1-1 and lot 27J1-2, concession 2 as shown on the plan. Number Candaland Survey Record 76648 from Scott Laverne Miracle and Suzanne Joyce Miracle. Die to Brenna Cassie Sheridan Miracle, Ian James Miracle, Mallory Lynn Miracle, Scott Laverne Miracle, and Suzanne Joyce Miracle. Dies joint tenants. That's one of them. The land transfer of lot 13C-6, 13C-7 road, 13E-2, 13E-3, 13E-4, 13E-5, 13E-6, 13E-7, and 13E concession 2, all shown on plan number Candaland Survey Record 113-389 from Timothy James Barnhart to Miles Orville Wesley Adam Green. There's a land transfer of lot 8D -4 concession 2 Candaland Survey Record 114022 from Melanie and Barry Gray, Edward David James Gray, Erica Ellen Elizabeth Gray, and Darren Dalton Douglas Gray to Erica Ellen Elizabeth Gray. A land transfer of lot 8D concession 2 Candaland Survey Record 114022 from Melanie and Betty Gray, Edward David James Gray, Eric Ellen Elizabeth Gray, and Darren Dalton Douglas Gray to Melanie and Barry Gray. A land transfer of lot 636A concession 2 Revised Statutes of Ontario 3228 from Ronald Kevin Brandt to Rennie Louise Brandt and Ronald Kevin Brandt as joint tenants. A land transfer of lot 2719-2 concession 2 Candaland Survey Record 113700 from Mildred Clara Wynn Wager and Logan Thomas Wager to Marina Jade Wager and Mildred Clara Wynn Wager as joint tenants. A land transfer of lot 16C-15-2 concession 2 Revised Statutes of Ontario 4633R from Lisa Michelle Robinson to Julie Ann Marie Emmons. A land transfer of lot 29C and 29C-3 concession 2 Revised Statutes of Ontario 4556R from Bonnie Joyce Brandt to Jill Irene Brandt and Bonnie Joyce Brandt as joint tenants. Does council approve these land transfers? If so, is there a motion and seconder?
Motion, Chief.
Chris
I'll
Miracle,
second that, Chief.
is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. We're now into business registrations. Some of them are renewals and some of them are new. There is a business registration for Better Blades. Ryan Baptiste is the owner. It's an e-commerce business selling camping, sports goods, fishing and hunting supplies. No inspection is required. Is there a motion to
I'll
approve?
motion that, Chief.
Chris Brandt, is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Aaron Ferranti? Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. There is a business registration renewal for Oxuta Designs and Fabrics. It's an e-commerce and store. Custom orders, fabrics, ribbons, etc. Darlene E. Miracle. Fire inspection conducted, and the count recommendations to approve and sign. Is there a motion to from council and seconder?
I'll motion, Chief.
Ogwari
I'll second, Chief.
and Linda. Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. There is a business registration renewal for Tyendinaga Propane, the owner's Keith Miracle. The Technical Standard Safety Authority inspection has been provided. Environment Canada tank is registration number is provided. The environmental and fire inspection is completed, and the insurance is on file. Recommendation is to approve and sign. Does council
I'll
approve?
motion that, Chief.
I'll second.
Hey, Olivia, that's for me on that.
Yeah, it's in my hearing aid. It rings to my hearing aids.
Oh my God, that's loud.
Yes, it's loud.
What?
There's a new business registration from Mohawk Steel in Trim. And they manufacture steel and roofing accessories. Chris M. Miracle is the owner. Environmental and fire inspections completed. Insurance is on file. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll motion, Chief.
Is there
I'll
a second?
second.
Anyone opposed? Opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried.
Yeah.
There's a new business registration for handling hides. Courtney Storms is the owner, consulting, teaching culturally relevant practices and hide preparation and tanning. Environmental inspection is completed, fire insurance not required as teaching done outdoors in a field. Is there a motion to
I'll
approve?
motion that, Chief.
I'll second.
Moved by Chris Brandt and second by Aaron. Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. There is a new business registration for Indigenous Business Management and Consulting. Sarah Road is the owner. No inspections required. Motion, recommendation that council approve this and sign. Is there a mover and seconder?
I'll motion.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second, Chief.
Corey? Anyone opposed? And opposed, seeing none, the motion is carried. There are funding agreements, the enhanced CEC training. MVQ has been approved for 24,000.
Did you, I think we should be on the
Miller Thompson.
Thompson invoices.
Oh, I'm sorry. The next item is supposed to be tractor for the school. Is that ready for not or not? Not uploaded yet?
I followed up with Sandy to see where it is.
Okay, so we'll just go, we'll move beyond that then. We'll go to number of Miller Thompson invoices. And it says is this the ones that are in the green folder? There's a blue folder here. Okay. So there's one invoice for HR for the long-term care, and the amount of $7,575. Motion to pay.
Motion.
I'll second that.
Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, motion's carried. Item number 13.
There's a second one there,
Mhm.
chief.
There's two Miller
There's
Thompson
two.
invoices.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Together.
Corporate matters.
There is on corporate matters, Miller Thompson invoice $978.70. Motion to pay.
Motion.
Second, chief.
Okay. So Andrew, you can just let us know when the tractor for the school stuff is ready?
Yep.
So we'll go on to number
Should be 15.
the number 13 should be number 15. Side with reconcile with the item on the agenda. So it reads, it's from Jamie Grant, it's a funding agreement for enhanced CEC training. MBQ has been provided, been approved for $24,368.05 through the Independent Electric Energy System Operators Indigenous Energy Support Program. The proposed training I'll start again then, item 15. Funding agreement enhanced CEC training. MBQ has been approved for $24,368.05 through the Independent Energy System Operators Indigenous Energy Support Program. The proposed training includes energy modeling, greenhouse gas accounting, measurement and verification procedures, advanced pre-RET screen, software training, project management and training, and money set aside to attend energy-related conferences to learn and network with the like-minded individuals. There will be no cost to MBQ as funding should cover all costs. It is recommended that council accept the funding to gain enhanced training opportunities for the CEC to keep future energy consulting costs in-house and reduce planning time for future new builds, retrofit projects. Does council approve?
I'll motion, chief.
I'll second.
Is anybody opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Okay, the next one is the 15 should read number 16. Make that correction on your agenda sheet. The Mohawks of Bay Quinte have been approved $36,800, 80% to fund 2 feasibility studies to work in collaboration with updating the community energy plan. 1 study to perform an in-depth analysis of community buildings to decide the best areas to develop solar renewable energy. The second study is to perform an analysis of electrical transmission infrastructure in the Tyendinaga territory and to pinpoint where upgrades are needed and to plan for future development. The remaining $9,200, 20% of the cost, is to be covered by the council. The recommendation is to sign the agreement to access the funding to begin work on feasibility studies to be performed on by Zon Engineering, subcontracted through the Cambium Indigenous Professional Services Performance Update Community Energy Plan. Does council approve?
Question, Chief.
Go ahead.
Angela, does this comply with our competitive bidding process for purchase of service, etc.?
That we have to ask them directly.
Can we
Well,
get,
36,000, do you know if that's within our amounts?
Well, it's only 9,200 that TFT is required to put in.
Yeah,
The Zon Engineering expense is 36,000.
Okay.
That's
So the
what they're putting
question-
that's what they're kicking in.
Who?
Zone engineering.
Zon Engineering?
Yes.
No, it's an expense. They're an
The
expense.
IESO's putting in 36,000.
Well, I see that. But once we receive money, then we are under a process of competitive bidding.
okay. let's-
Otherwise, IESO wouldn't even need us in the process. When the money comes, it's for us.
Okay. There's a letter here dated May the 1st, 2025. Maybe it will shed some light on. So Sherry, can you, Angela, can you let them know that Sherry Miracle is no longer the CEO, that you're acting CEO? We are pleased to inform the Mohawk Bay Committee proposal of the Indigenous Energy Support Program has been approved and closes that with this letter is a completed funding agreement, which contains the terms and conditions, as well as deliverables and disbursement schedules for the funding under the IESP program. You are strongly urged to review the funding agreement and all schedules carefully. A successful recipient has 30 business days from the issuance of this letter, acceptance periods, to accept the funding agreement by signing and delivering one electronic copy to the independent electricity supply system operator, failing which the applicant shall be deemed to have been withdrawn unless an extension of the acceptance period is granted by the IESO. So the clock starts ticking on May the 1st. So we are already 21 days into that. If you are not able to submit one electronic copy of the funding agreement within the time frame, you must send a written request to the IESO for an extension of the acceptance period before it has expired. The IESO may grant an extension of the acceptance period in its sole absolute discretion for a number of days, any in which the IESO deems to be appropriate. If the IESO does not either receive the one electronic copy of funding agreement or receive the grant, such a request for extension, an application shall be deemed to have been withdrawn. With this funding, any conflict or inconsistency between the funding agreement and IESP program guidelines shall be resolved in favor of the funding agreement. All capitalized terms used for not defined in this offer letter have the meanings given thereto in the IESP program guidelines of the funding agreement as applicable. It says congratulations, so it doesn't give us an answer. So I guess the question is there any, does the ISO, is this a requirement that Zon Engineering do this work? Can you find out, can we have Tom and Jamie join the call, Angela, please? Maybe they can shed some light on the question that's been raised by the councillor.
And what are they going to do?
Well, the adequacy of our infrastructure is one of the things, our hydro lines, because there's been no assessment done. We can't just keep building and building and adding.
I realize that, but I was just going to say, but that has to do with the new roads going into place and everything else. I guess that's part of it.
That's correct.
This
Planning
is
for the
for-
future development.
Two feasibility studies to accompany and guide the renewable energy roadmap section of the updated CEP. The first is to gauge the legitimacy of solar photovoltaic systems on the rooftops of community-owned buildings, including structural review, drone imaging, and concept design to complete a connection impact assessment. And the second is to assess the electrical transmission infrastructure of the territory to evaluate current facilities, capacity, and connectivity to aid in the planning of future developments.
Okay. Can we get
Just for
Angela?
the sake of time, maybe we should just move on. My question required a simple
Well,
yes
well,
or no
Tom,
answer. With
it-
either a yes or a no, I really don't want to spend
No,
hours
but I don't want you to-
digressing into the agreement, the funding agreement.
Okay,
The
but-
question was simply,
But the question might be able to answer quite quickly. Angela, is Tom and Jamie available?
Thomas can hear Jamie.
Jamie, hi. So have a seat. Jamie, one of the counselors has questioned the Zon Engineering doing this, being subcontractor to do the work for the analysis that has to be done. So is this a requirement of IESO, or how was that decided?
So back that last summer, we put out an RFP to update the community energy project, and Cambian Indigenous Professional Services responded with the best.
So there was an
best
RFP, a
proposal?
request for proposals, okay?
Yes.
And so the winner then is this Zon Engineering.
So Zon is subcontracted through
By Cambian.
SIBS. Yes,
IESO.
No,
By Cambian.
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 Does that answer your question? There was an RFP, Chris?
so that RFP was last year, but now we received a new funding. And so my question is on engineering for this new contract is 36,000. Are you aware that we have policies in place for the buying services and procurement, et cetera?
So when we applied to the IESO to update our energy plan,
Yep.
we had originally applied for the 36 plus the 93
Okay.
altogether, and they had suggested that we split the feasibility studies under a separate application.
So the question is it okay to use the RFP from last year for this year? With the ISO, we don't have to go back again
No.
with a new
No,
RFP.
they're aware.
They're
of-
good with it.
Yes,
Okay.
we didn't reach out to Zon or. they
So we
were-
didn't go back to request a new RFP.
Correct.
Okay. So an RFP has been done, and that satisfies the policy.
Yes.
That RFP was done last fall?
Last summer, I believe. I want to say July. I can find that out when we send it out.
Does that answer your question, Chris? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Okay, is there a motion to sign the funding agreement and to provide $9,200? And I would suggest that we could put this on our lobby session for ISC because they do provide money for electricity systems.
A motion, chief.
They do?
I'll second.
Anyone opposed?
I'm going to abstain, chief.
Ms. Merkel abstain. Do you want to record the reason why?
I'm just going to abstain, chief.
Okay. One abstention noted. Ms. Miracle, thank you. The ISO funding agreement feasibility studies. MBQ has been approved for 36.
We
Is
just
this the
did that
same
one,
thing?
Chief.
This is a duplication. Is this a duplication?
Yes. The next one's a community energy plan.
Well, we better read it just in case. Okay, MBQ has been approved, $36,800, 80% to fund 2 feasibility studies to work in collaboration with the updating the
We
community
just
energy
did that one,
plan.
Chief.
Yeah, we just did that one.
You read it already.
It's in here twice then.
We should be on the Indigenous Energy Support Program to execute agreement to
It's a
update
duplicate,
community
it's in
energy
the wrong
plan.
order. Okay, number 17 is labeled correctly. MBQ has been approved for $93,803 to update the community energy plan. MBQ to contract Cambian Indigenous Professional Services to update the plan, which will include renewable energy roadmap, fleet electrification, current consumption from future projections, community engagement practices, process to take 10 months with final presentation to council, March 2026, and project to be managed by CEC, Jamie Brandt, and advised by Tom Kring. Approves and sign the recommendation to approve signing the agreement to proceed with to update the community energy plan, previous plan completed in June 2018. Does council approve?
I'll motion, chief.
I'll second.
Question, chief?
Go ahead.
When was this funding received?
Angela, has it been received yet, or, well, it's been approved, have we received the funds yet? Okay, if you could just send Cecil an email then to answer the councillor's question, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, she's away in training right now, so I don't know if I'll get an answer right away.
Okay, would Jamie know?
We didn't make her saying that we were approved.
So the,
And we signed the agreement, send it back.
so we've already got the funding.
She signed
Exactly. That makes sense. If you don't sign an agreement, they're going to give you any money. Okay. It's been moved by Aaron and seconded by Aguirre to approve. Is anyone opposed?
It was the
Anybody
other way, but-
opposed?
It was the other way.
I moved it, chief.
Chief, it was-
Aaron and Aguirre.
No, Gloria and Aaron.
Okay, and Aaron, okay. Aguirre and Aaron have moved in.
So my question is, chief, is that 93 old funding or is that new money coming again?
It would be new money because
New
we haven't
money.
signed an
Okay,
agreement to
so
get it.
then
Yeah,
every-
because we have
So
to
my
sign an
question-
agreement to get this new money.
Okay, so my question is, for the expenses, were these tendered?
The original project
Cambian's
was,
on,
the original project was tendered, and this is an update to the community energy plan by the look of it.
so I guess that's a no.
Well, we can call him back in. Chief just said that.
Bring
it
Jamie
was
back in
the
to
last-
clarify. It's
the last one was
administrative
tendered, and they
detail.
went with the best tender. So get him back in here for this one also. Just to make sure.
Thank you.
That's what it looks like? That's what it looks like? Yeah.
Because the council's passed a motion to open up a lot of these unopened road allowances to spend $12 million. Of the money that we've got from ISC has to be spent by March 31st, 2026, or it gets clawed back. They have made that very, very clear to the council. They will not let us just keep carrying money forward with indecision. You ask for money to get the work done, get it done. Don't try to stall it. Otherwise, don't ask for the money if you don't want to do the work.
No one's asking to stall anything, chief, but when I go out in the community, they say, why are the same people getting the same work over and over? So I'm simply
Yeah, but-
exercising my responsibility to show due diligence in regard to our fiduciary responsibility
And
to the
there's no
community.
quarrel with
So
that.
when I'm 100% convinced, then I can look someone in the eye and say, it was handled as per our policy.
Okay. Okay, anyway, the question is a policy decision on number 17, the funding agreement for the $93,803. We got to sign an agreement to get the money, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so then the question is, did it follow policy, MBQ's policy?
As far as I know, yes, everything went through Tom.
Okay,
So Jamie, when was this funding received?
it hasn't been.
It won't be received till the agreement's signed.
Okay, so Cambian, 43,000, were they invited to bid on this with other people?
Yes, they were.
Okay, because typically we see, here's what the
Okay.
results are from the tender. It's typically attached to it, but it's
Okay.
not attached to this. So I'm wondering, well, if it's not attached, then maybe we're sole sourcing. But if the tender results are attached as per typical, then we say, okay,
Okay.
I wouldn't be
now,
asking these
was
questions.
Was this an RFP or a tender?
It was an RFP.
So it's an
And
RFP.
their
Okay.
proposal was attached.
So,
when
so we don't have the same question coming up at council. Angela, could you put in something in the briefing notes to the council that the RFP was done, when it was done, and who all responded? And I think that will clear up a lot of this discussion that we have regularly at council about tendering.
So the RFP was completed and sent out near the end of May, as the application deadline was the end of July. We received 2 proposals, one from Quest Canada and one from Cambian Indigenous Professional Services. And we decided to go with Cambian Indigenous
Okay.
Professional Services, as they had a more custom.
Okay, the funding agreement's not here with the briefing note, so who has the funding agreement that has to be signed?
I have a copy of the funding agreement.
Okay, because it has to be in, they're giving, you got till June the 1st to get it in there.
Yes,
Okay, so let's get that signed today so we doesn't fall through the cracks.
perfect.
I believe it says that I.
Yes, you're the signer.
Okay, that's fine.
And Chris, I see Chris's point and is right. In this case, it looks like sole sourcing, but in the future, if you could put down the different tenders that came through, that way we will know and there won't be any questions.
Okay, absolutely. When I did the original application, I had included their proposal with it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks.
Okay, that concludes our public
We're
portion.
good enough.
We're good, thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
See you in 5 minutes.
And just to make the council aware,
Did you say bye?
okay, thank you very much for the community members who attended, and thank you for your patience while we work through with the lawyer on some HR matters this morning, and I wish everyone a good day. And the temperature's a little bit cooler than normal, but it's some warm weather supposed to be coming next week. So everyone have a good day.